All right, we're back. I got Toolkit downloaded, installed, all that good stuff. It's included in the project. Make sure that it shows up in the the plugin section. Okay, that looks good. So now I'm also going to come in and add the RPG Engine TK folder from the latest demo. From the latest example, so I can have just starting assets that I can use. I was told that there was an issue when trying to load the plugin vanilla, that if you don't have the RPG Engine TK folder, then there are some things that give you errors and things like that. The majority of those it's because I was trying to figure out how I can do the toolkit and have an example at the same time without having two different plugins, and I couldn't find any way that Epic would let me do that without having have, I guess, two different versions of a plugin, and then I don't have any way of doing that, so I had to keep some of the links. But that's one reason why I included the Gumroad download for that for the example kit, so that way you can have access to those files. So when you load it up, you shouldn't have any issues per se with loading the plugin. So I'm going to copy this. Normally he shouldn't copy content assets just willy-nilly, but since this is actually going from a pure content folder to a pure content folder, you shouldn't have any asset links that break because of this. That being said, the RPG Engine toolkit folder is actually needed, especially for the linking of the assets and how I bake things with the armor and things like that. When it's looking for the data and blueprints for the character armor types, the character's class type, and actor information, it scans through the RPG Engine TK folder / actor folder to find these blueprints. So you do need this directory, but you can modify it and change it however you need. And my cat keeps getting on my desk. Sorry, Roxy, no. So let's see. I think that copied already. So now it should be good. I do have to make one more folder. Did I close that? I closed that. Okay, let's see. I have to make the folder for the RPG system. Trying to make sure my cases are correct. It's RPG _ system. And then make sure data store, yeah. So I'll go to my scratch folder, contents. There we go. Rename that to RPG _ system, and then make a data store folder. Data store. Alright, that's spelled correctly, and this is where my database will sit. So I'm also going to go and just create a blank database real quick. Database manager. I don't know how long the recording sessions record with the new version of this NVIDIA application, but it let me go over the 20-minute mark that it limited before in Shadowplay. So hopefully I might try to see if I can do 1 hour recording sessions, so that way I can get the most in a video. I just don't know how long it will take to actually upload. Wrong folder. Yeah, that was right folder. Content folder, database systems, and then call this source. Just creating the database. I can minimize that. All right, so everything's set to go. I'm gonna close this out. I can come back to this later. Put this over here. All right, let's bring back up the project. Not that one. Oh, I closed the whole thing out. Okay. All right, so now if we come over here to actors, I should have all my base skeleton information that links to the actual actor blueprint that's over here. So this should be linked up correctly. Let me check this. Make sure that the class actor is linked up to the toolkit. If you don't have that, it'll just disconnect everything like I showed in one of my other videos. You can just come in and connect your own stuff to make your own character. My computer decides it wants to lock up trying to open a file. All right, there we go. So now my default animation is, my animation class is set up. I guess it was doing shaders and stuff. That's why it took so long. Okay, so that's good. So first things first, let's make a title screen. So I'm going to go over here, make a levels folder. And we're going to save this actual map. Save as. And for the engine to pick it up, all we have to do is just name it title screen. If I spelled that correctly. Okay. So now, I also need to do a few setups over here in our project settings. Make sure I point to the right title screen, which is the one that we're creating, the levels. And game levels, okay. Let's change the mode to RPG mode. Everything here should be good. Okay, so now that we have that, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to import the actual default input settings, which are included in the last update to the example kit, which is pretty much an export of the default settings that you need for each of these sections, including the input, the maps and modes. I don't really need the maps and modes because I just set that up, but I'll still load it anyway just so you can see. So I'll bring in the inputs. So now I should have everything that's needed for my controller set up, for the L3 axis to, do things in the menu and everything like that. Going to my maps and modes, I'm going to import that one. So let's see, bring that in. It loaded my RPG information here, and it defaults this to none, but you can go in and set this to level again. I'm in the title screen. And I think it's navigation mesh. And then navigation systems. This just sets up the navigation for it to be dynamic nav mesh generation, because each of my actors and characters have the navigation invoker on it, so that way I don't have to create nav mesh across a giant map. And I can't remember what the last one was. I think it was my packaging settings, probably. Import. Yes, packaging settings. So now this just includes. This should include the extra directory for the RPG Engine system. Yep. So that way it makes sure that it packages in, when you package your game, it packages in the database and event structures, so you can have that with your game. If you don't, when you try to load your game after packaging, it won't be able to find the database because you didn't package it. So now, I'll just hit play on this real quick. Alright, so now we have our default set up. We have a default menu, but I want to add a few things to the menu to show off a few other things that's inside the actual title screen. So first things first, I'm going to add a little scene. Let's see, in the toolkit, select the RPG sky. Make sure this is at 0, 0. I'm going to bring in some kind of landscape. So I can make one real quick. Stop that. Edit function. I'm gonna change this. Terrain fractal. Update. Small features. I was trying to see how to zero edges. I think I messed that up. Oh well, this will work. Actually, let me load my other one. Stop wasting the time. Let's see, come in here, edit this a little bit. This is just a thing I put together trying to find good ways to randomly generate different terrain types. It's way too high. Let's see, fractal terrain. Just trying to get something that looks interesting. Small features, large features down. I think that can work. I'll use this one. Wrong way. Nope. Oops, rounding. View to 11. View exports. What? I have no idea where that went. It exported a 3DS instead of the actual file. Let me just do that real quick. Small. Okay, that'll work. I'll just use this. This time I'm actually gonna make sure that it exports correctly. It's a 5K map. Let me up that a little bit. That probably would have been a horrible resolution anyway. I'm gonna make sure I don't try to push it too much because it may crash the recording and I don't want that. Make sure I select target, title screen, alright, that's what I should have saw last time, the little pop-up. I'm actually going to make sure it's there this time. Alright, there we go. Close this. Alright, so that's a good something. Let's see if I can bring the water level up. Probably around here. Need let's see, beach heights. That should go good. Just a little flat area, that's all I really need. Check my size. Nope. Bring it down to a custom 1009. That should be good. Make sure my export area is empty. Let's see, this will be title screen. build that. All right, let's see what it looks like. All right. There we go. Highly bumpy, but just for right now, that should do good. All right. I can close this. No. Nope. All right. Pipe that over. Go away. All right, let's see. So now I got my title screen map. Let's see. 200. 200. Material instance. Title screen. Terrain. And this is going to go from the... Oh, I didn't include the plugin. Ha 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 ha. Okay. I need to add my auto terrain cover. So right now I'll just bring in this terrain. Click. I probably should have left it at 100. This is definitely probably overkill for a title screen. Let's see. Probably have the camera about right here. Drop a camera in. Did they move everything around? Let's see, camera. Bloop. All right. Get that to turn around. All right. And let's see. I should just have to give this a name. In the RPG Engine system, it will, you can actually keep a list of actual cameras that you want to be used for the title screen. And that's actually in the title screen itself. So if I go over to HUDs, HUD title screen. All right, so inside of here, we should have a list of cameras. So we got the title cam, which is the first cam. And let me see, do I have this populated? These are the option cameras it's going to use. So every time you switch to another option, it's going to go through the camera and send the camera to that position. But for right now, I only have a title cam, so I'm just going to use that. And that's going to be the default cam that it focuses to. Otherwise, it's just going to be wherever the scene starts at. And if you have a black scene, that'll work. But if you have a 3D scene, you're going to have to make sure that's called title cam. So if I click that, all right, I'm inside the title cam right now. Full screen that to make sure I can see everything properly. Okay. I actually need to change the camera view. Constrain aspect ratio, turn that off. Okay. So now, there we go. So full title screen. So now, I'm actually going to try to see if I can add my other plugin real quick. Let's see. Auto terrain cover, plugins. Scratch. Plugins. I wish there was a way to pause the video so you didn't have to see an exciting loading screen at 95%. No, I do not want to restore because I saved everything before. All right, let's see. So now I should have a plugin that's not enabled because everything defaults to disabled now. Oh, joyous. Now I have to restart the editor again. The fun of restarting editors is so exciting. Look at that percent bar grow up in a very exciting way. Witness in awe as the 90% sits there forever. All right, so now scroll up. Auto terrain texture. Okay, so now that is there, let's see. It's ATC base material. Come over here. ATC underscore. And for some reason, the autocomplete is not drilling down into plugins anymore. That must be a new feature of this version of the engine. So let's see, drag that in. All right, so now we have just a generic base terrain that we can use for this land. Terrain. Drop? Nope, of course not. Drop. All right, so now we have a base terrain. Grass crap. Let me make sure I can turn that down because the distance cutoff doesn't even need to be that long. Grass cover, grass forest. I think rock should be good, but let me cut these down. $15 to $5. $15 and $5. All right, and then I can thin the grass a little bit. 25. See what our frames per second look like. Okay, that should be good. So now, let me see if I can find my camera somewhere. Bloop. All right, so. That should work. So for smooth this out. Let's see more of the water. There we go. See how this looks. That is just too in my eye. Let's see. And that shouldn't be there for long since the time is advancing. Okay. Also, I can drop a tree there. My brain has apparently cut off. All right, let's see. Tree. There we go. That way it's not so in your face. Alright. So now we need music for our title screen. I've actually used Income Tech to get some music. It's not the best in the world, but it's something. I just can't remember which one is what. Make play. There we go. That works. So let's see. Now, if I can actually remember correctly, if I go to, while that's opening, if I go to HUD, title screen, there should be a section where I can add the sound. That's an image. That's a pause menu. Or maybe I'm just crazy. Let's see. Let's see. We load the buttons. We get the system handles. This is where we set up the cameras, if we're going to switch the cameras. I thought there was somewhere here where I played music. I could be crazy. I thought there was a music section here. It might have just been in the level itself. But that still works because I can add it to... I should be able to add it to the ambience. I haven't converted it yet, so I can't add it to anything. So let me see. Save this out as... Save it as a wave. Make sure that the bit... I don't think Unreal can handle 32. I think it's 16. And put this in somewhere. There we go. So let's see. I'm going to input this. Sounds. Make sure it can play. Alright. Sound cue. I'm gonna add this to my ambience for this level. Save all. All right, there we go. So now we have a title screen. You hit start. Should be able to hit start. I can't use my mouse for some reason. I think that's another thing with 414. Okay, so with 414, I guess you extremely have to use the setting that tells you to enable mouse and GUI inputs. In the previous versions, that wasn't a thing. This recently happened to me at work as well. So if I go into, that means I'm gonna have to do another update to my plugin. So I'll go into the RPG system. I should easily be able to just add this. So at the end of the begin play, I just need to say, what is it, game and GUI? Input, GUI, game only. There we go. Set input. So it's set input mode. Set input mode. Game and UI. Do not lock. All right, so let's see that. They're changing a lot of things that are being deprecated that I'm probably gonna have to worry about soon. So let's see. I still cannot use my mouse. Let's see. Make sure that I'm getting here. Make sure I'm doing everything correctly. Player controller, okay. Alright, so now we got the player controller. Plug that into that. That technically shouldn't have compiled because wouldn't that be a required element? There we go. My mouse works now. And then we can start a new level, but we don't have a starting level. So let's exit that. Let's see what these warnings are. Mobility of landscape error. 4.14 has a lot of interesting new things that it's complaining about that I have never seen before. Alright, so we have a title screen. That's done. I'm actually probably going to stop here and continue in the next video for making an intro area. But at least now we have a title screen, we have a starting camera for the camera screen, we have a tree, we have a lovely view and music added to our scene for our title screen and cut, I guess.